You found the STIHL National Championship Air Races presented by Reno-Tahoe.
Almost 6 decades here. Almost 6 decades. This incredible event has gone on, and the sport class is coming near the ramp right now. We're getting ready for a gold class sport race here, Rob Lowe. And here's the champion from 2019 and 2018, Andrew Finley. One moment.
Race 30, and this is going to be some kind of excitement. We thought we saw some speed last time in the Unlimiteds, Tommy. It's going to be almost matched here in this 400-mile-an-hour research department, which this class is, and we'll talk more about that. But changes are made all the time, lots of experimentation. You see a lot of sponsor stickers on these aircraft. There's a lot of major aviation companies that are doing research on these race aircraft in cooperation with the pilots and the crews, and there's so much going on. This really is the innovation class here in the National Championship Air Races. Great shot of Andrew there in race 30, sponsored by STIHL and so many others. He has done so much innovation. Like you said, he's a 2-time national champion, but he's matched up with a 7-time national champion in this heat. We'll talk about that in a minute. Lots of competition, lots of competitive nature going, but we're going to get to hear about some of the technology.
Yeah, Andrew Finley, your champion, as we mentioned, in 18 and 19. Of course, we were grounded and didn't win last time. And Andrew Finley getting the science, getting the engineering, everything back together. He is an inveterate tinkerer, and you know he's made some changes for here in 2022.
Another year, excited to be back here at Reno 2022. We have fresh blades from Macaulay on our race propeller there. We did have a turbo failure earlier this week, so we have our older setup right now on the engine. So hopefully we'll get that spare turbo in and get back to the big turbos and make all that boost. But other than that, pretty similar setup to what we had last year. Plane was running really nice, and just kind of try to continue tweaking that and just turn up the boost a little bit more.
And there you see our pace plane. It's Reno-Tahoe L39 Delphine. And the reason we have to have a jet for a pace plane, just like the Unlimiteds, these aircraft are so fast, we need a jet to be out in front of them to stay in position to be able to maneuver. And the pace plane does more than just line them up, Tommy. The pace plane also provides a safety function. They provide safety oversight throughout the entire race. The pace pilot is on the radio with the race pilots the entire time. If someone were to have some sort of an anomaly or an emergency, the pace pilot would immediately come down and join on them, help them if they need any kind of observation. So again, it's all about safety. We're competitive, we're racing, but it's all about safety here. And you see our competitors. There's our number 2.
Yeah, we just saw Jeff Lavelle take off. There's Andrew Finley.
And there Finley's on the roll, and coming in behind him, number 3, should be Vicky Benzing in the white and red Lancer race 15.
Lucky girl. Vicky Benzing flies a lot of categories. She's flying 2 here this week. Here's Peter Balmer in Swiss Thunder 2, race 67 from Interlaken, Switzerland.
All the way from Switzerland. That's amazing. Yeah, this is the fastest motorsport on the planet for sure. And there we have in a Thunder Mustang. That's not a real true production Mustang. That is a home-built kit from Thunder Mustang. Very realistic, and that is race 51, Rolf O from Wiesbaden, Germany.
Vince Walker in Moto Mio, race number 2, was in 6th position in our field of 7.
Beautiful airplane there. We jump to our 7th place competitor here, race 24, Jim Rust out of El Cajon, California, in Gremlins Castle. This is a Glacier 3. Beautiful airplane, bright colors, spectacular markings on the aircraft. You get to see the gear retract there. Fantastic camera work that our folks from JM Productions and the Reno Air Race Association are doing here on covering these Reno Air Races for us here, Tommy, in 2022.
Oh, what a big day this is. What a great week. What an iconic event in all of sports. Our sport class is one of the marquee events for sure.
I'll follow you.
So Tommy, let's talk a little bit about what happens here in the sport class. Again, we're racing the large 8-mile course. We're going to do 6 laps. They're going to do an airborne start like we just talked about. Speeds are going to exceed 370. In fact, our top qualifier qualified at over 400 miles an hour this week. So spectacular speed in this class. Again, that's why we have a jet pace plane. The aircraft are up there circling with the jet plane right now to get lined up. We're going to see a lineup very similar to what we saw in the Unlimiteds. Once they get lined up, line abreast to the right side of the pace plane. There you see our 8-mile course on the graphic here, and they're going to be airborne, and they'll come down the chute Here you see it lined up, our pace plane in red. They'll be lined up. They have to stay in their lane until the guide pylon. You'll hear the pace pilot say, "Gentlemen and ladies, you have a race." He'll pull up and away. They have to stay in their lane. They can accelerate, but when they get to the guide pylon right there at the start line, that's the first time that they can turn in out of their lane. And here you see an onboard shot from a previous year out of one of the Thunder Mustangs in the sport class as they're racing around at just under 400 miles an hour, 50 feet off the deck here in the sport class. And again, this is the 400-mile-an-hour Research and Development Department here at the National Championship Air Races, Tommy.
Boy, it's a lot flying one of these planes, especially with all the gauges they have to watch and all the other competition they have to watch out there on the race course. It is a full-time job and an intense 6 laps for these planes around this course.
Typically on Saturday, you're going to see them positioning. The Saturday race is all about your positioning for Sunday for the gold race. So this is the gold heat. They want to position for the great place. Obviously, being the pole would be the ideal position for any race starting on Sunday. But don't forget, Tommy, we talked about we've got big winds forecast later today, winds for tomorrow, a chance of rain tomorrow. All of those things add additional pressure and additional importance to today's race, because if we should get blown out or rained out tomorrow, this race will be the final. So we want to make sure these competitors are making sure that they're not going to take any chances today. So they're not going to break their equipment, but they're also not going to lay back as much as they might on another year. So this could be the final race.
Absolutely. They don't want to leave much on the table. They do want to be able to race tomorrow if necessary, but I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of holding back today.
Yeah, and I think what's really, folks, what we're going to watch for those first 3 positions in the once we start, when we get started, you'll hear them say, ladies and gentlemen, you have a race. And when they are going down that chute headed for the guide pylon, I think you're going to see everything go against the wall, especially between Jeff Lavelle in #1 position, Andrew Finley in 2, Vicky Benzing in 3, because they know the importance of what's all on the line for tomorrow. And again, like you said, Tommy, 7-time champion #1, 2-time champion #2, and Vicky Benzing is no left out. She is a competitor.
Knows how to win as well. Very, very accomplished racer.
Really no changes. What's new this year is a lot of smoke in the area, so it's kind of changing, you know, when you can qualify, and hopefully you can qualify. If not, I think in our class, you know, they'll put you in the back of the heat race that you probably belong. But yeah, the smoke has been a real issue this year. But yeah, no, not a lot of changes. You know, helmet wasn't working, so we got it working now. So wasn't able to, you know, have a seamless, perfect event yet, but, you know, we're working towards that.
Live coverage continuing from the STIHL National Championship Air Races, Reno, Nevada. Big race, almost to the point of being underway here. This is gold class, sport class, gold sport class race here on Saturday. We've got 6 planes in this one, and this is at the very top of the sport class. We've got multiple national championship winners in here trying to add another one. We've got our planes have just flown around back of the course over Peavine Mountain, getting lined up and getting ready for these 6 laps. It's 41 miles.
And Tommy, we have a race. You heard the pace plane call it right there. You see Andrew bringing the throttle up. They are racing, Tommy. They're coming down the slot. We can see them over our shoulder here now as they're headed for the guide pylon. Great shot out of Andrew's cockpit right there in race 30, second place. And there you can see our first 2 competitors jumping out front. The Jeff Lavelle in race 39 is on the left there, and Andrew Finley in race 30 right behind him as they are headed to the guide pylon. And there they go. They are right now the leader, just turning at the guide pylon, coming at you right into your living room, Tommy.
Moving out, our #1 qualifier there, defending champion Jeff Lavelle, Class Air 3.
Lavelle has an early lead over Finley. You can see Finley there on the right side of your screen trying to catch up with him. Lavelle, again, they're flying our largest 8-mile course. He's coming around the pylon #6 there, headed into the Valley of Speed. Interesting to watch this part, Tommy, and folks at home. Keep your eye on what happens here. Andrew Finley now is going to be pulling out all the stops to catch Lavelle. Lavelle's going to be concentrating on staying tight, staying consistent, don't make any cuts. The competition is really going to get hot here in just a second. Here you see your leader coming towards the home start finish steel pylon.
Lavelle, the 7-time champion, qualified over 400 miles an hour in the previous race.
And here you see a good shot here at the final pylon coming to home with some of the rest of our field as they're coming around. There's Vicky Benzing in the red and white. jump back to the leader and see how Andrew Finley looks like he's beginning to make a little bit of ground. There's Andrew Finley in second place. He's making a little bit of ground on Jeff Lavelle, who will get him into a camera shot here in just a second. But the great shot of Andrew Finley out there on the far north end of the course, just down low, flying fast, flying low. You know what they say here at Reno, fly low, fly fast, turn left, and he's doing it.
A little over 7 miles this course right here, and again 6 laps will be going around. He has pulled out of the race. He has gone upward. That is how you leave a race. So some sort of issue with race number 30, Andrew Finley, in 1 moment.
And that leaves Jeff Lavelle out front. You saw him come by the pylon cam right there, and he's making his way around the final pylons 8 and 9, headed back towards the start-finish line. So Finley had some sort of an issue and is pulling up out of it. The pace plane, like we talked about earlier, Tommy's going to help them. Here you see a good race with Vicky Pinsick down low, and the Thunder Mustang off to the left side of your screen there with from Germany, race 51.
67 or 61. 51, yes, the Thunder Mustang.
So you see the Mustang on the outside of the course there. We're back to our leader as he comes through the guide pylon up there at making his first turn at pylon number 1, headed back down into the valley. And there you can see him headed to far north end of the course, going around pylons 4, 5, and 6 here on our largest course, the 8-mile course. You can see him descending now, making that final turn around pylon number 6 and dropping into the valley of speed. So he should be right about at 400 miles an hour based on his qualifying speed right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the fastest that plane's going to go. But with Finley out of the race, I'm sure he's pulled it back just a little bit. So now it's all about being consistent, Tommy, protecting the equipment because he needs to be in place to own that position for tomorrow to win the gold tomorrow.
Yeah, this is just kind of a rehearsal now for him with his closest competition now out of the race. Andrew Finley, again, if you're just picking up with us, started in the 2nd position 1 moment. The STIHL Lancer Legacy, and he had to go pull out of the race, so obviously an issue there. He said earlier this week they had to replace a turbine, and maybe that's had something to do with it. We'll just have to find out.
Could be. Now we're watching our leader again as he makes his way around the far north end of the course, beginning to get close to some of the lap traffic here in just a minute. But there you can see, and Tommy, you hear the difference in those motors in these aircraft compared to what we heard in the Unlimited and the T6 class. Just very different. Here's a great shot of our race 51 and the Thunder Mustang. Basically a 2/3 scale Mustang home built kit that you can buy. Beautiful looking airplane, looks just like the real thing, but look at that. What an iconic look right there coming around here at Reno.
This is Ralph O from Wiesbaden, Germany. International field here for sure.
And he's doing a great job as he makes his way around the home pylon. And we're going to jump back to our leader there now as he's coming around. Great shot of Jeff Lavelle. And here you're going to get to see the bottom end as he's coming back. He's passing lap traffic. He's already lapped Vicky Pinsick, Tommy.
Wow.
And she's already in the she's in the 4th place and been lapped by the leader. That gives you just a feel for how much faster he is as the 7-time defending national champion.
Yeah, qualified about 60 miles an hour faster than the remainder of the field, so he started with that advantage in his back pocket. And there we see Andrew Finley has put the plane down. He is out of the race right now, so race 30 not in this one.
But he's safely on the ground, Tommy, which is good news. And on the left side of your screen, you see our race continuing. We're in lap 5 of 6. This is our leader coming around, headed to the Valley of Speed. Next time by the steel home pylon, he should be collecting the white flag for telling us there's 1 lap to go. You see him passing lap traffic out there, continuing as he makes his way down here into the Valley of Speed. You get to see them descending. Look how low he's getting there, Tommy, hitting right on that 50-foot minimum altitude. But that's where it's the fastest, and here he's going to come by the pylon cam. That is so cool. Those shots are so amazing. The folks from the Reno Air Race Association are bringing us.
On your right.
And here he comes.
White flag, white flag.
Taking the white flag here, signaling the final of the 6 laps for our leader, Jeff Lavelle, 7-time champion in sport.
And you see Tommy, he's just about to pass our race 51 in the Thunder Mustang as he's making his way around. Now watch the speed difference here. Look at that, right by him as he's headed toward the guide pylon. But Jeff Lavelle has clearly been the class of the field today. And there he is coming around the guide pylon up there in the foothills, and now he's dropping into Lemon Valley. Full speed, nose down. The aircraft is just performing flawlessly here, getting ready to be, appears to be that he's got the aircraft in top performance and flying flawlessly here at first place here today, Tommy.
Just going through the motions, hitting all the numbers on his way, cruising through this final lap here, this final last of 6 laps in our Sport Gold class.
Wow, here he comes around pylon 7, 8, and 9. He's bringing it around, headed for home. You're going to get a great shot of him here as he comes to the checkered flag, Tommy. Jeff Lavelle, race 39. Unofficially our winner, Tommy.
Didn't need to send a message, but he sent a pretty strong message anyway, serving notice to the rest of this field that he will definitely be the airplane to beat.
And there's race 51 in the Thunder Mustang coming by. He's still got one more to go. He got lapped, so he's got one more lap to go. He's just now entering his 6th lap. Look, here's a great shot of race 24. This is Jim Rust in Gremlin's Castle. Tommy, you see him coming around. Here's 2 aircraft coming around pylon 7, 8, and 9. It's Vince Walker in race 2. It's on the shot there with him. So race 2, race 24 coming around, headed for home. You see 24 got by him, and he's going to come by the final steel start-finish line there. Taking the checkered flag, and they're going to pull up and circle to land. There comes Vicky Benzing in the red and white. So here's coming down the slot. We get ready to go, and you can see early Jeff Lavelle and Andrew Finley both jumped out quickly in front of the field, and here you see the first time through the north end of the course. Lavelle's out front, but Finley's right there with him, and then Lavelle, Tommy jumped out front, clearly faster, the class of the field. He got out front and stayed there, and there goes Andrew Finley with whatever the issue was. That's where he pulled out, just straight up out of the course, and then the pace plane comes to join him, make sure everything's okay, and as we know, he made it back on the ground safely. But here's Jeff Lavelle, down low, in the weeds, in the junipers, just flying a perfect race all the way around, Tommy.
2 is out of cool down.
It's nothing to hinder, just a perfect run for Jeff Lavelle, who has made literally dozens of perfect runs through the years here. The past decade, the STIHL National Championship air races, just bringing it on home, and such power. What a display he put on today, serving notice.
Yeah, and don't forget, we did have some good competition back in the field behind Jeff. Here he is coming back around again by the still start-finish line. But he just was flawless the whole way. Here he is down low in the sagebrush on the north end of the course. But just everything appeared to be working perfectly for him today, and he flew it expertly. And here he is coming around the final pylons for the last time, making his way here to the checkered flag. And Tommy, our unofficial winner.
By a wide margin, again, yes, unofficial. Jeff Lavelle, race 39, is at number 1. Jim Rust coming in 2nd place, started in the 7th position with Gremlin's Castle, so a good effort for him in race 24. That was actually Matthias Hayde or Rolf Au. We'll have to get that squared away for you. Both of them, the pilots alternating in Klaus Thunder 1, 3rd place, race 51. Vicky Benson, race 15, and Lucky Girl in 4th place. Peter Ballmer, Swiss Thunder, race 67 and 5th. Vince Walker, Motomio, race 2, and then Andrew Finlay did not finish, as we saw right there, had to leave the race after a couple of laps.
Visibility was actually not too bad. That was a concern all week. Wasn't the greatest, but it's good enough. And so I think the race, this is probably our first race, all of us, so it went pretty smooth. No issues. Hopefully we can do it again tomorrow.